So, Machine Gun Kelly, rock's latest punching bag and rap's used diaper. If you turn on the radio to a channel that plays top 40 music, then you're more than likely to have heard his stuff. MGK released his first pop punk album in 2020, which had tremendous success, reaching the #1 spot on the US Billboard 200, resulting in the album going platinum in both US and Canada, you know, that place that nobody gives a shit about.
Well, I'm off to destroy Canada. They've had it too good for too long.
So why does everyone hate him? Why is it so fun to bash on this 31-year-old emo dude? So Colson Baker has been making music since around 2006, but I wouldn't say he's found mainstream success until taking shots at Eminem. You know, the guy that made white rappers cool. Not Logic, no, that's the other one. You got it. It seems Colson realized that by attacking larger, more successful musicians, it would lead to him getting more attention. Something he continues to do years after being neutered by Marshall Mathers. On top of this, it looks like the majority of people who grew up listening to the genre MGK is trying to force himself into see right through this facade of black tongue dye and accessories from Hot Topic, and are rightfully calling him out for being, well, a poser. So let's get into it. Pop punk is a style of music that combines both the heavy sounds of punk music with the repetitive, cutesy choruses of pop music. Examples of pop punk bands that everyone knows would be stuff like Green Day, Blink-182, Paramore, Fall Out Boy, stuff like that. The genre certainly isn't as popular as it was back in the early 2000s. I honestly can't remember the last time a pop punk album made it onto the Billboard that wasn't an established band from back in the day, like Blink-182, which is why you'll hear a lot of people say, hey man, like him or not, he's helping put pop punk back into the limelight, which would be great if it wasn't shit, right? I think MGK does a really good job at showing that there's a certain formula for this type of music, and the dude abuses the shit out of this formula. I'm sure Travis Barker has played a heavy hand in this, considering that he's both the drummer for the album and the producer. Travis Barker, for those who don't know, is the drummer for Blink-182, so it makes sense that Travis's roots would bleed through onto whatever project he's working on. But if you listen to the two most recent Blink albums, you'll realize that they're just as guilty as abusing this pop punk formula as much as MGK is. That's right, if you want to defend Blink-182, you have to defend California and 9, and clearly that's not possible. It's weird, like you've got the 30-year-olds in Vans and khaki shorts making songs about the hot alternative girl with blue hair who's just so hard to meet, and songs about having mental health issues because we're just so quirky.
As the lyrics are just a straight up romanticization of a super fucking toxic relationship, but you know, making it sound like really cool and sexy, like we're just fighting and fucking all the time.
Yeah, a lot of pop punk songs have the same ideas, but I think the difference is you can tell when a songwriter is being genuine and when a celebrity is trying to get attention from 14-year-olds. And what stings the most about the argument of, well, he's good for the scene, is that there are so many better examples of pop punk that deserve so much more respect from people who don't listen to this style of music. Like, here's a sample from a real pop punk band, right? Even if you're not into this kind of music, you can still hear the passion and realness in the singer's voice. You can tell that this person put a lot of time into crafting this, right? Whereas with Colson Baker, it's like he teamed up with Travis Barker to try to recreate the old generic sound without fully understanding why those songs worked. I recently watched this video praising the rise of MGK and how he's revived a very sleepy scene, and well, I didn't like it, not because it's a video praising MGK, although that certainly doesn't help things, but because of lines like this.
On the other end of the album spectrum of genre-jumping tracks, we have World War III, a 1-minute solid rock track about the people who counted Kelly out at various parts of his life. The anger of the vocals and the vigor of the music is straight out of 2005.
Now he's right, Colson does his best to emit a feeling of anger in this track, but I feel that it falls flat on its face, coming off as more of a song about being rejected by Hot Topic. If you listen to this track thinking, wow, Kelly is a very angry person, and that's highlighted by the tone of his singing here, then I desperately need you to listen to anything by Knucklepuck. In fact, here's a tiny clip from a really powerful song of theirs, right? I'm not comparing the songs to come off as this preachy, oh, my taste is so much better type of dude, but I want to inform you that this pop punk revival is non-existent because pop punk has been kicking ass this whole time. You just didn't know it, you know? If you listen to MGK and you think, ah yes, this is real pop punk, this is quite the peak, I would say, then listen to any of these bands I'm showing you on screen right now, right? Then you'll understand that all MGK is doing to the genre is adding hot pink lipstick to it, right?
We are all pink on the inside, right?
Yeah, we're pink like vaginas.
Oh, but I mean, what the fuck do I know about pop punk? I mean, Kelly has been doing Warped Tour for years, and it's not like I grew up listening to the genre. What does Corey Taylor of Slipknot know about rock? He's just some weird 50-year-old in a mask.
Hey, you wanna know what I'm really happy that I'm not doing? Being 50 years old, wearing a fucking weird mask on a fucking stage, talking shit.
A while back, there was a group that emerged on TikTok, making all these videos about how wild and quirky they are, and shelling out their band's music. It was very clear that these girls were trying really hard to fit into the emo scene, and their lyrics about guys being pigs were making it even more obvious that something wasn't quite right. Now, this being TikTok, there were internet sleuths immediately on the case and hard at work at finding any evidence to support the claim that these neon-haired edgelords were full of shit. Sure enough, these girls were completely different people the year prior, and it was made clear that the whole emo persona thing was just an act in an attempt to make bank off of a very young and impressionable crowd, showing artists the world over that if you're having a hard time selling records, just pretend to be something that the kids will like. Well, Buggy, what the fuck does these random posers on TikTok have to do with the absolutely polarizing rock icon Machine Gun Kelce? Well, my friends, if the giant pill bottle set pieces or the black tongue dye didn't ring off any alarm bells in your head, then I'm afraid your poser radar is horribly off. The worst part about writing the script for this video was having to sit down and listen to MGK's last 2 albums in their entirety. So be not afraid, my dude. I actually took the time to listen to his music, and let me tell you, not very good. Now, the production on the albums were fine. They were produced by Travis Barker, which may explain the very cookie-cutter, generic emo pop sound that this album gave off, right? It sounds a lot like Travis and Kelly were trying to capture that old school sound that everybody likes, but they didn't really do anything interesting with it.
Walking on the beach in the summer with my friends. I can never be the cool kid. Getting out of this town with my friends.
On top of a very generic sound, all these songs are littered with lyrics relating to drug use and being in these toxic relationships as mentioned earlier, because they're just so cool and quirky, right? Kelly is very loud about his excessive drug use, and that's fine. I'm all for doing te marijuana, but I've always hated when people make getting high their whole personality, and that's definitely something that Kelly is guilty of. Like on one of his interludes, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm totally coming down from these mushrooms, dude." Holy shit, a rich white guy doing drugs in his mansion? Color me surprised.
You remind me of the guy who brags about they never get as much as they brag about.
He says all this shit like he really needs us to know how high he gets and how cool he is and how he's been a rocker his whole life. But dude, if that's who you are, then just do it. Otherwise you come off as this little prick with a huge ego.
This is very important. The state of rock and roll depends on rock stars. I gotta see some you. I have to. I want some attitude, dude.
It seems that Coulson thinks he understands being a rock star better than people who've been in the genre, despite only being here for like 5 minutes.
Our rock and roll isn't even just rock music. Some of our greatest rock stars of our generations are rappers.
Like Lil Wayne.
That motherfucker is everything I loved about the rock stars from back then.
Kill yourself.
He has this impression of what rock stars are supposed to be, but I don't think he's realized the idea of what a rock star is doesn't look very good. Rock stars were dudes who lived fast and died hard doing whatever crazy drugs they could get their hands on. But after so many legends dying so young as a result of doing these substances, the curtains were drawn back to reveal that rock star persona wasn't as glamorous as people thought.
Anybody else who's going to get addicted to drugs are obviously going to fuck up their lives eventually. If it doesn't take a year, it'll be next year, you know? It's so obvious. I mean, I've seen it happen with every person that ever gets strung out. It's a typical classic case that drugs are bad for you and they will fuck you up.
The only person I can remember trying to fill out the edgy bad boy rock star persona was Ronnie Radke of Falling in Reverse. And Ronnie, well, he's a bit of a prick. I don't know much about the guy. I've listened to a handful of tracks from his band, but I know that he's dealt with these issues of drug abuse, so there's the persona MGK wants so desperately in full display. Clearly, it doesn't pan out, right? Really, I don't think this knockoff Jeffree Star has any say in what a rock star should look like or act like.
I make my cigarettes from scratch. These were actually grown on from Native American shamans, and they rarely give this out to anybody. I want some attitude, dude.
Also, did you guys know that Coulson was in Bird Box?
Hey, did I mention I'm a fucking cop?
You're in the academy, doesn't make you a cop.
He was also in this movie called Nerve. Here's another clip of that. In both of these movies, he plays that shady bad boy, and I've got to say, he's a pretty good actor. I'm not gonna lie. That's the thing, though. He's good at acting like an edgy rock star, but in reality, he's just some celebrity playing pretend. He was also in the latest Jackass movie, which, oh my god. He had such a short cameo, but the whole time he seemed like this lost little boy looking around for a camera to look at, like, ooh, do I look sexy from this angle or this angle? Ooh. So, piggy banking off of the huge ego section we just went through, how well do you think this 31-year-old millionaire reacts to taking criticism?
Oh my God, guys, why didn't you tell me there was a group of emo guardians on social media declaring what's emo or not, and that I didn't make the cut? Emo, 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 emo.
If you thought like a little girl, then you guessed correctly, my friend. I've always thought artists taking criticism as a personal insult was pathetic, mainly because it is. Bring Me the Horizon released a song called Heavy Metal, in which they sing about being called posers by their young audience, but I'm gonna give them a pass because I thought it was a good song. It's a pretty decent listen. I get it, they really beat you over the head with their message about not caring, but you cared enough to do the song, so like, what does that say about you, right? It's childish, but it's fine. I'll give it a pass. And then there's Hobo Johnson, right? Another artist who's been bitch slapped by the internet. He had this interview with Anthony Fantano. It was clear Hobo Johnson was a big fan and really excited to be talking to the guy, and it was just really wholesome experience.
You talking to fucking Anthony Fantano?
Shut the fuck up and just answer the question.
Okay.
And then later, Hobo Johnson releases this absolutely abysmal album called The Revenge of Hobo Johnson. Anthony Fantano, being Anthony Fantano, reviews it on his channel, and at one point says the album is alienating his fans. So Hobo Johnson took it upon himself to immediately release a couple more songs in a new album called Hobo Johnson Alienates His Fan Base. I think that was the exact moment I went from being a big fan of Hobo Johnson to ignoring everything and anything he would do from that point onward. All of this is to help express that when you create something and release it out into the world, you have to be prepared for criticism, right? It's probably gonna hurt, yeah, but in the long run, it'll make you a much better artist because you'll know exactly what you need to improve on. So when Kelly takes criticism as emo kids thinking he's not a real emo, it makes him look like more of a pussy, right?
So, you have an album coming out called Mainstream Sellout. Yeah, clever name, given that you are mainstream and you are also a sellout.
Now, MGK has said a lot of weird stuff online. A lot of stuff that upon hearing will probably make you raise your eyebrow and do a double take, like, what? But let me assure you, yes, he really said that, and yes, it does get a lot worse.
Who's your first celebrity crush?
I don't care what my first celebrity crush was, because right now it's Kendall Jenner. Don't let me move to LA. Oof. I'm finding her.
Are you counting down the days until she's 18?
I'm not waiting until she's 18. I'll go now. I'm 23, dog. Like, I'm not like a creepy age. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm 23, bro. She's 17 and she's like a celebrity. Like, there is no limits right there. Robert Plant, who was one of the greatest lead singers ever. For all y'all don't know, he sung for Led Zeppelin, dated a girl that was 14. Axl Rose, who was one of the biggest badasses ever, dated a girl that was 16 and wrote a song on his first album about the girl that was 16. I don't care. Say what you want, man. If Kendall Jenner is in your bedroom naked and you're 50, you're going.
Here's a sick tweet MGK put out in which he expresses his sexual attraction to girls who've barely hit puberty. Oh, stop it, libs hard. That tweet is so old, and it's so unfair to hold someone accountable for a tweet they made over a decade ago. Yeah, that is pretty low, yeah. But when there's multiple tweets spanning a long period of time, it stops being old tweets and becomes evidence A and B. Take this tweet about Eminem's daughter, Haley, for example. She was about 16 years old when he tweeted this. 2 years after that first tweet I showed you. Really nice to see Kelly keeping up this habit of creeping on minors. How about this tweet about a 13-year-old girl admiring his Transformers tattoo? Dude, it's clearly a joke. Come on. Yeah, you can try defending him under the guise of, it's a joke. But if Michael Jackson made a joke about kids, you'd point and go, I fucking knew it, right? Because Michael had this history of being, well, pretty sus. And these tweets go to show that MGK is, well, pretty sus. He even addressed the tweet about Eminem's daughter, but instead of going, yeah, I've said some questionable things and I'm not proud of it, he uses it as some weird excuse to try to explain why his album isn't being reviewed by certain people and how it's negatively affecting his career. No, MGK, the only person negatively affecting your career is you. At the time, I didn't think that was a thing. I'll tell you this situation, because this is something that I feel like, quiet as it's kept, is the reason why certain things don't happen. Pictures of Haley had came out, and I'm like, what, 20 years old, 21 at the time? I said, she's beautiful, but all respect due, Eminem is king. What's wrong with that? Is there a 15-year age gap where I'm a creep for that? I was 21, dog. Certain people took it and ran with it and hyped it up. Certain people won't even listen or review my album. Certain places you won't even hear Machine Gun Kelly on. Certain things won't even happen. Look, a friend of mine said it best yesterday. They said, why do you care? You came into the industry blackballed. You already came in with everyone hating you. So I'm not stressing it, man, because I'm not wrong. Kelly has this idea in his head that because the age gap isn't in the double digits, that it's not a creepy thing to say, but Kelly, you don't get to decide what's creepy, right? In the video I showed you earlier, he goes on and on about how these other huge rock stars were dating girls way younger than them. But like, that doesn't make it any less weird, Kelly. In fact, I would say it's more weird that you went out of your way to research these weird relationships so you could bring them up whenever somebody called you out on your questionable behavior. I swear, MGK is the type of dude who's memorized the age of consent laws in every fucking state just in case. I didn't even know until just now that MGK actually has a daughter, a 13-year-old daughter who's black. Why am I mentioning she's black? Well,
my child is black.
Oh, we didn't know that.
Black girls give the best head.
Okay, so that's funny because usually we're told that we don't.
Okay, no. Now this is what y'all do. Now y'all either give the best head or you say you don't give head. White girls, they just give head. You know, like it's just like it's.
So the ones who say they don't usually give the best.
No. I'm just saying. I'm saying with black, with what you're saying, we're told you're not give the best. It's not that you don't give the best head. It's just that most of y'all say I don't do that unless you're my man. You know what I'm saying? Like. Whereas you just need to show your skills, because black girls give the best head 100%.
I understand it's like posing no good, man. Bitch be calling me tapping that shit, man.
Yeah, did that make you uncomfortable? Yeah, that made me feel pretty icky. Yeah, I didn't like it either. Apparently it bothered somebody walking by when they heard this, and this is how he responded to that.
Bitch, walk the fuck away then, you fucking dirty bitch. Yeah, bitch. Weak ass dress and fake ass Louis Vuitton purse.
It's just really weird to be talking about your daughter and in the same breath you go, yeah, girls with her skin color give the best head. It's very questionable that the thought of your daughter brings sexual stuff to the front of your brain. At the time of him saying this, his daughter would have been like 3. So Kelly, now that she's a bit older, do you want to repeat what you said?
Whereas you just need to show your skills, because black girls give the best head 100%.
Hey dog, don't talk about my girl like that. That's fucking weird, you little weirdo. So you understand that talking about other men's underage daughters is weird, right? You get it, right? Look, we have to talk about Kelly's swing at Eminem, right? It may not seem important to you, but in my eyes, it's as clear an indicator of his current actions as a child mutilating helpless animals. You'd see that and think, yeah, I know exactly how this story ends. As mentioned earlier, MGK made this really weird tweet about Eminem's underage daughter, which led to Eminem mentioning Kelly in a future lyric. Rightfully so. I mean, here's some dude creeping on his underage daughter, so of course he's gonna say something, right? And like with everything in his life, Kelly took this insult right up his ass and decided, you know what? I'm gonna make a diss track on one of rap's most influential figures, and I'm 100% going to come out on top. There's no way this could turn out bad for me.
At last the roof goes on, and nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong!
Whoa, careful, Kelly. That's the guy that made the Venom song, you know. For those unaware, Eminem put out a track called Rap God a while ago in which he raps really, really fast. I remember being an edgy 6th grader when this song came out and I thought, yeah, it's fine for a rap song, I guess. So you know it was pretty good, right? Fast forward to 2018, following the drama surrounding Kelly and Shady, and MGK released Rap Devil because he's the devil and is the exact opposite of Eminem, meaning he's the devil.
You're the devil? It's always the one you least suspect.
Obviously with me there's a bias because I already don't like Kelly, so my opinion on him is a bit skewed, but damn, these lyrics in his song were really weak. We had lines like, beard's weird, you're 5'9" and I'm 6'4", I'm sick of them sweatsuits and corny hats, further highlighting how critical Kelly is of other people's appearance.
This is what I will tell you, I did Warped Tour and these would wear comfortable shoes on stage every day.
But Eminem, ooh, Eminem. I'm gonna be real. I wasn't even a fan of Eminem until this song dropped, right? He made a response to the diss track, and the response was called Killshot. And Killshot had really strong lines like, I'm 45 and still outselling you. By 29, I had 3 albums that had blue. And knowing his beef with Corey Taylor of Slipknot, I know that hurt him, right? I know for a fact that line really got under his skin. I just know.
Being 50 years old, wearing a fucking weird mask on a fucking stage, talking shit.
We also had lines like, I'd rather be 80-year-old me than 20-year-old you, which, oof. I think what made Killshot so hilarious, though, was Kelly's response to it all.
It was trash. Oh, okay. I think Killshot was good. I just think Rap Devil was better.
What's that?
It's a 6 for me, dog.
It's a 6 for you?
Killshot
was a leg shot. Rap Devil, we're talking about facts. You want to talk about man buns? This shit is cheese, but the artwork is fire. Let's also say it like it is. You took 2 weeks, I took 2 days. You used $1 million studio, I used the dressing room before sound check. You called me a mumble rapper? Oh my.
Yeah, that was stupid.
Can we just pour some out for this old dumbass?
I'm trying to decide how stoned I am and just how like on the verge of death am I right now. It's like, am I like seeing shit because I'm stoned or because I like have no blood left in my body?
You've been shot like 7 times.
You gotta eat. You gotta eat.
Yeah.
You're losing stuff.
Yeah.
Killshot was really the end of this beef. Nothing crazy happened afterwards. I started listening to Eminem and thought, man, that dude from Sleeping with Sirens just got cremated. Holy shit. On Twitter, you're more than likely to see people going, damn, Eminem bullied MGK so hard that he changed genres, which is a really funny thing to say, but it's not true. And we gotta talk about that too, right? Even Kelly tried using Eminem's diss track as an excuse for his follow-up album flopping so hard, despite saying that the diss track wasn't even good.
Killshot was a leg shot. Rap Devil, we're talking about facts. You want to talk about man buns?
Eminem and Kelly were part of the same label, but since Eminem had been on the label way longer, Kelly had this sneaking suspicion that Eminem and the label were working against him because of how much money M made for the label, which I guess is a normal thing to think if you're schizophrenic or Machine Gun Kelly.
Emo, 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 emo.
Did y'all really call Interscope to try to shelve his?
Fuck no. I ain't never made a fucking call, made a call to Diddy, really? Yeah. I got Diddy's number, just hit him up. Yo, Diddy, what up? Never happened.
Which is a very fine example of Kelly's victim complex. See, it's totally fine for him to trash talk bigger, much more successful artists, but when they talk back, suddenly MGK is like, whoa, it was a prank, bro. I'm sorry, I wasn't being serious, guys.
Do I always handle things the right way? No. Am I a human? Yes. You think everything I say I'm proud of or that I can stand on? Fuck no. There's plenty of stuff I'm embarrassed by or ashamed of. Don't make people villains that are making mistakes.
Turn the lights on. Let me see who chose to be here instead of with all the old weird dudes with masks.
Which brings us to our next controversy. Dude, everyone knows Slipknot, okay? My mom knows Slipknot, and she's like 1,000 years old, right? So yeah, they're kind of a big deal, right? Usually when you want to learn about something, you want to hear it from someone who has experience in that field, right? So when one of the guys from Slipknot has something to say about the rock genre, I'm gonna fucking listen because these guys clearly know their shit. I don't think you need an expert opinion though when you hear Kanye West saying he's the greatest rock star of our time.
You are not the greatest living rock star of all time.
All of this is to say that when you're brand new to a genre, you probably shouldn't take shots at the guy who's been crushing it for the past, I don't know, 20 years.
Being 50 years old, wearing a fucking weird mask on a fucking stage.
While Kelly was slaving away on his latest album, playing the worst fucking solos imaginable. His team reached out to Corey Taylor, hoping to get him on one of Kelly's tracks.
They sent it to me, I didn't dig it, and I tried to do something with it because of my respect for Travis. They sent me these really weird notes, and they wanted me to sing his words, which weren't, and I just said, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm not gonna do it.
Now Corey came out and talked about this at a Q&A he did because MGK was on Twitter claiming that Corey was actually cut from the album because his part was quote unquote terrible. And that makes you think like, I wonder who's telling the truth here. Could be anybody, right? Well, don't worry because Corey backed up his story with receipts. So this shit that MGK tweeted saying, oh, he's just bitter, tells me that, yeah, Kelly didn't like hearing no.
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
It tore me apart.
A bit after this drama, MGK and Slipknot were both set to perform at the 2021 Riot Fest, which already pretty awkward, right? Hilariously, Slipknot was set to perform at the same time on a different stage while MGK was already performing on his stage, right? Upon hearing Slipknot was about to play, a lot of people started leaving to go watch Slipknot instead because obviously you're gonna watch Slipknot over MGK.
And we're playing basically at the same time. He wasn't happy that there were a lot of people at our show. And I do mean a lot.
And as we mentioned earlier, Coulson has a huge ego, like a massive ego problem, right? So seeing people in his crowd dip to watch a band that he had beef with twisted his little nutsack into a Slipknot, right? I see what you did there. Nice. Which led to MGK shit-talking Slipknot on stage.
Hey, fuck that, dude. Turn the lights on. Let me see who chose to be here instead of with all the old weird dudes with masks. Hey, you wanna know what I'm really happy that I'm not doing? Being 50 years old, wearing a fucking weird mask on a fucking stage, talking shit. So anyway, what's everyone's favorite candy? Reese's Pieces?
Yeah, go suck a dick, Corey Taylor. I fucking hate you. Anyways, you guys like Hershey's or Crunch Bars? Rock fans are very loyal. I've seen way more rise against tattoos than Ariana Grande or Justin Bieber. That's not a shot at pop music. That's just to say that, of course, rock fans are gonna defend their favorite bands to the death, as indicated by MGK's performance at another festival, right? I'm not sure why MGK was invited to a metal festival. Snoop Dogg is also a weird choice, but at least he's this huge established musician, so it makes a bit more sense. But MGK playing next to 9 Inch Nails, it's just a weird choice, right? Keep in mind that this show happened after the Twitter drama, after he called them 50-year-old weirdos in masks, after the entirety of the rock fan base came out to shit on his Hot Topic Ellen DeGenerate looking motherfucker. So he was shit out of luck before he even got on the stage, right? And can you guess where this story goes?
Fuck yeah, dude, everyone fucking get on the fucking shoulders of some strong, sweaty guy and fucking crowd surf on up here. This next song goes like this, because clearly people won't know.
What a fucking twist. As it turns out, people at the metal festival don't like MGK. Shocker, right?
Fuck yeah, dude, everyone fucking get on the fucking shoulders of some strong, sweaty guy and fucking crowd surf on up here.
And someone took him saying that as a direct request, which led to this dude crowd surfing to the front and shoving MGK back like an absolute unit, right? And Kelly just kind of swung his arm back trying to get in a hit, like, eh. Judging by how Kelly hasn't tried to publicly insult any other huge musicians, I'd say he's learned his lesson. Who's he gonna swing at next? Who knows? My money is on Korn, but place your bets in the comments, I guess. It's very common for artists to change over time. With art, like drawing, when an artist's style changes over time due to them learning more about the craft, we call that an art evolution. It makes a lot of sense that the more you do something, the better at it you get, right? So it also makes sense that as you go from album to album, a band starts to sound a little bit different. I think a great example of artists changing their sound is Bring Me the Horizon. They started off as this really hardcore band, but as time went on, they changed from hardcore to metalcore, and from metalcore to rock, and from rock to just straight up pop, right? I think I mentioned earlier that if your band's played in like a Walmart, then it's a clear indicator that you've gone mainstream. And that's what happened to Bring Me the Horizon. I worked at Goodwill for a bit, and I'd hear their song Ammo on the store radio like twice a day, which was cool. It's nice when a band with a lot of talent gets the attention they deserve, but unfortunately not everyone agrees. When they made the change from metalcore to pop rock with their album That's the Spirit, it rubbed a lot of fans the wrong way. I remember a lot of people taking it as Bring Me the Horizon just selling out, but the reality was that their sound was changing because they started listening to less and less hardcore music, and they just wanted to make stuff that sounded like the shit that they listened to personally, right?
During an interview for the lead up to That's the Spirit, keyboardist Jordan Fish addressed the band's evolution, saying, "We don't listen to extreme deathcore anymore. We still like some heavy music, but I also like Justin Bieber."
If you've listened to their 2020 album Survival Horror, then it's very clear that these guys are still capable of making absolute headbangers. So them bending genres here and there is fine because they've proven they can do it all. The difference between MGK and these bands is that these bands don't need to reach out to an established icon in the scene to hold their hand through their first dip into a certain sound. In conclusion, Machine Gun Karen is the kid in high school who made fun of you for being emo, but is now painting his nails and donning his sharpest chokers because it's cool now. In short, don't support this man. This man has said a lot of suspicious, alarming things. Like I said earlier, if he was to come out and acknowledge how fucked up those tweets were, then maybe I would be a bit more forgiving, but the truth is, he has come out and acknowledged those tweets, but he used them as an excuse for why his albums are doing so poorly. Which tells me that he hasn't exactly learned his lesson, nor has he really changed since those tweets came out. And I think that also says a lot about Megan Fox because she has to know about those tweets. So how is she openly dating this guy who's creeped on minors before? Like, I feel like that says a lot about her as a person too. Don't support sexual predators, sexual assaulters, creeps in general. I think the general rule of thumb is if you wouldn't trust them with your young daughter, your young niece, your sister, whoever it may be, then just don't support them, right? Also, I didn't get to fit this into the video at all, but he does have one good song on his album, right? But what I thought was so funny about this song was that he essentially redid the song on his follow-up album, and like they sound exactly the same. And they both feature Black Bear, who pretty much carries the songs, and I don't know. I didn't know how to fit that into the video, and I just wanted to add that somewhere. So here it is. So again, don't bully people because they're emo and like too old for it. Bully them because they hit on minors. That's about it. See ya.
All right, I didn't wear this shiny suit for nothing. So either put me in, coach, or I'm gonna sing another song.
you do, Flip?